A warm welcome and a happy new year to anybody who's watching this. I hope you had a good start to your year. I know not everybody had, but then I hope it gets better for you. I have been thinking, I do always do a lot of thinking. Sometimes it's quite tiring, but I was thinking about how our ego structures require so much maintenance. Now, what do I mean by an ego structure? The ego gets a lot of bad rap, I think. I see the ego as that which functions as interface between us and the world. And if the ego is functioning well, then that interface between us and the world is quite smooth. But if the ego is very concerned with vulnerability and maintaining an image, then it becomes more like a wall than an interface. So it prevents us really resonating with another person, really being fully ourselves or being able to be fully open, and therefore leaves us feeling in ways at times lonely. So how does that work? Well, we all have scars from childhood. I don't know anybody who's been brought up with the feeling of being fully loved and accepted for who they are. And that's not a bad thing. I think it's part of becoming ourselves. We learn through these experiences. We are honed into our exquisitely unique selves. But the problem is, if we get stuck in this wall, or we get stuck behind this wall and we are constantly having to attend to our image, then it's just exhausting and it shuts us off from the rest of the world. It made me think of, sometimes there was a film I saw recently where there's one of the people characters is a newsreader, and there's somebody coming out from makeup every 10 minutes or so to kind of powder their face and tissue away the sweat drops that are dripping down their forehead, so we don't get to see them sweat. In the finished product, they never look like they're sweating. So that maintenance of there's nothing going on with me, I'm fine, takes a lot of effort in a way, and effort of which we have become usually quite unconscious because we've been doing it for so long, and it has felt as a very important survival mechanism, although we don't usually see it like that. But there comes a point in our lives that we become more and more aware of this, and we feel kind of restricted behind this wall that we've created. And we can start to dismantle it. Now that requires care, curiosity and attention, because it's not for nothing that we have those defenses. So we have to look at, okay, where did what point in my life did I decide that I needed to have this defense? And going back to that point, very often it's quite early in our childhood, and getting in touch with that child again and being able to dialogue with them, whatever way you want to do it, in order to make the transition from there and then and that pain or fright or anger to here and now and the adult person that you have now become. And so that you can take care of that child, that child learns that she or he is safe with you, instead of you having to kind of rush around, doing with bricks and mortar or whatever, restoring the wall wherever bits have fallen out of it, because that really is exhausting. Sometimes the encounter with this part of yourself will come through illness, but very often it will come through relationship. It is in intimate and close relationships that we really encounter ourselves. We learn about part of ourselves that we cannot learn in any other way. So intimate, when you get into a close relationship, at first it'll be, it's all the honeymoon phase, and then you get into the phase where you start worrying that the person, somewhere you start being concerned that they're going to see these other parts of you, and then that'll be it. So there's a potential for healing there. So, and for me, it's a lot about being very gentle with those parts of ourselves. and seeing how they interact with the pain in the other person as well, because that's always the case. We always manage to choose people. We like to think we consciously choose our relationships. We don't. In a way, I think the relationships choose us. So if you are becoming more and more of that wall, aware of that wall around you and that sense of loneliness you have, then you are ready to start dismantling that wall slowly, brick by brick. And I'd like to emphasize again that that cannot be done by taking a sledgehammer to it. I don't believe that works, although many years ago, when I was training in different modalities, there was a kind of sledgehammer approach sometimes to people's, where people came to the point that they were too nervous to go further or too afraid. There would be a sledgehammer approach to dragging them out of their cave, as it were. I don't believe in that. I don't think it works in the longer term. Anyway, it's not my style. So that's what I want to ask you perhaps to have a look at for yourself. Where are you still rushing around maintaining this image of yourself, which is costing you so much energy, and is basically because you're afraid that you are not lovable the way you are. You are lovable, just the way you are. And you learned, all of us learned as we were growing up, oh, better keep that bit out of sight because it seems like mum doesn't like that very much, or dad doesn't like that very much, or I don't get on very well at school if that part of me comes out, so I'll just hide that. And if that goes on the longer term, it just cripples us in a way. So, you know that just another brick in the wall, time to get just chipping away at those bricks, slowly and with care. So I wish you fun and joy and a great sense of freedom in dismantling the wall in your own good time. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.